June 2020 Planetary Transits for Taurus and Taurus Rising. This is an equal house chart set up for 0 degrees Taurus on the ascendant, Eastern Daylight Time, New York. We begin June 1st, 2020, with 2 retrograde planets in Capricorn in the 9th house sector. Jupiter at 26 degrees conjunct Pluto at 24 degrees of Capricorn. The Sun is placed in the 2nd house at 11 degrees of Gemini, with the planet Venus at 15 degrees of Gemini, retrograde. The planet Mercury is at 4 degrees of Cancer in the 3rd house. In the 10th house, we have the planet Saturn at 1 degree of Aquarius, retrograde. Mars is moving through the 11th house at 12 degrees of Pisces, with Neptune at 20 degrees Pisces. The moon is in Libra at 8 degrees in the 6th house sector, and Uranus is in the 1st house at 8 degrees of Taurus. Overview. June of 2020 brings 3 major events: the second hit at exactitude of the magnificent Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, an annular solar eclipse, and the entrance of Mars in Aries for a 6-month-long transit. Let's look at each one and determine the life areas that will be impacted. The Jupiter-Pluto conjunction will make its second hit at exactitude in your 9th house sector at 24 degrees Capricorn 6 minutes retrograde. Planets in retrograde motion bring a review and readjustment. In the 9th house, travel, education, international connections, and legalities will be redetermined. Additionally, due to the positive, expansive nature of this conjunction, whatever you require to move forward will be available. This conjunction is characterized by lucky, fated events, but there are pitfalls ahead over the next 6 months due to Mars in high tension. Please refer to my videos on the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction 2020 for Taurus and Taurus Rising, uploaded in December 2019, as well as my video on the 6-month transit of Mars in Aries for Taurus and Taurus Rising. The second and third events of importance occurring in June 2020 is the annular solar eclipse of June 21st at 0 degrees Cancer, 21 minutes, happening in your 3rd house of communication, relatives, daily travel, and day-to-day contacts, which is activated by Mars entering Aries on June 27th. On June 27th, 28th, and 29th, as Mars ignites the eclipse point in your 3rd house, there could be a crisis or just intense activity and change in these life areas. Eclipse activations bring emphasis and focus to the life area it impacts. Of course, if you know your exact time of birth and have your astrological chart, you'll also have greater accuracy of interpretation. On June 2nd, Venus square Mars between houses 2 and 11 could stir up friction between you and a friend or in a group you work with due to a clash of values. On another level, you may be spending more money than you anticipated in order to fulfill a dream. The planet Venus conjuncts the Sun on June 3rd in your 2nd house, a very sociable and affectionate energy. Romantic and creative pursuits are favored, as well as having fun. This is usually a bad day for shoppers on a budget because resisting something beautiful will be impossible. June 5th brings the full moon, 3:14 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 15 degrees of Sagittarius in opposition to the Sun at 15 degrees of Gemini, spanning houses 8 and 2, highlighting personal finances, joint finances, taxes, insurance, bank loans, inheritances, personal values versus the values and needs of others. The planet Mars at 15 degrees of Pisces is making a high tension square, 90 degrees, aspect to this full moon. This is a highly frictional and impatient full moon. Be careful of what you say and how you say it at this time to avoid a major conflict with others. If you're on the road today, drive defensively, especially if you're irritated or frustrated. On June 6th, under Sun square Mars, between houses 2 and 11, intense ego conflicts with friends or in a group situation could erupt. This is an aspect of high energy and aggression, with a tendency to force circumstances with others who will then try to stop you because they feel threatened. Conversely, you may have to contend with someone overstepping your boundaries. Instead of ego conflicts, use this energy to forge ahead with group goals. On June 11th, Sun square Neptune, between houses 2 and 11, is an aspect of deception resulting in confusion. The information you receive on the mental plane may be at odds with what your gut feelings are telling you about a situation. On another level, do not permit any news you receive to activate your inherent fears. Your imagination may be in overdrive. June 13th brings Mars conjunct Neptune in the 11th house, an energy that can make you feel dispirited and world-weary. Deceptive actions from others may contribute to a feeling of insecurity. On another level, the desire to escape the mundane may be strong. Do so in creative ways instead of indulgence in drugs or alcohol. On June 18th, the planet Mercury turns retrograde at 14 degrees of Cancer in the third house sector. Also, on June 18th, Mars sextile Pluto between houses 11 and 9 is a positive vibration under which to implement changes or reforms for greater ease of operations with group efforts. The Sun enters Cancer on June 20th, ushering in the summer solstice and moving into your third house. Under Mars sextile Jupiter, also on June 20th, between houses 11 and 9, international connections, travel, education, and legalities are favorably highlighted. June 21st brings the new moon, 2:42 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 0 degrees of Cancer, 21 minutes in the third house, accentuating daily travel, communication through the written and spoken word, relatives and neighbors over the month ahead. Use this energy for a fresh start in your relationships, especially those that have become strained. This new moon is an annular solar eclipse that will be activated by Mars on June 27th, 28th, 29th, emphasizing the concerns of this life area. The planet Neptune turns retrograde on June 23rd at 20 degrees of Pisces in the 11th house. Venus turns direct motion on June 25th at 5 degrees of Gemini in the second house sector. The planet Mars enters Aries on June 27th and moves into the 12th house. Mars sextile Saturn on June 28th between houses 12 and 10 favors communicating with superiors about ideas for greater efficiency in the workplace. If you're at home, it's a good day to accomplish tasks you've been putting off. June 30th brings the second hit at exactitude of the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction at 24 degrees Capricorn, 6 minutes, retrograde in your ninth house sector. Also on June 30th, we have Mercury sextile Uranus between houses 3 and 1, and Mercury conjunct the Sun in the third house. Both aspects tell the story of intense mental activity and harmonious communication concerning contacts in your day-to-day world, especially along the lines of implementing new innovative ideas to fit changing conditions and current needs. An excellent time for discussing and creating long-range plans.